After a nice discussion on equipartition theorem, now we are meeting here to discuss its application part. Actually, one of the most important applications of equipartition theorem is to determine the molar specific heat capacities and their ratios of particularly of gases. As I have told you in the previous lecture that our present concern is for the gaseous system. So again our whole discussion will be centered by taking the system in gaseous form. Particularly you can say the perfect gas or ideal gas. So how we will deal with this problem of molar specific heat capacity and their ratio, we will see in this lecture. Actually, this is a very important concept, but very easy. It is also easy, but very important for various examinations. You can see I have mentioned some of the years when this problem has been asked in a most prestigious examination of India, that is UPSC CSE. In physics optional, you can see the back year question that this problem has been asked in 2017, 14 and 8. I have mentioned some of the year. It is possible that it has been asked many more times in this examination, and in university examination this is asked always. In fact, in each alternate year you will find this question in university examination. So you can say this is a most important concept or most important fact to know because it is very important for us. So now let us consider a gaseous system, and as I have told you, our gaseous system is what? That is simply a perfect gas system. And we consider that in our gaseous system there are mu moles present. That is, mass is measured here in moles, and so you can say the amount of gas is what? This is mu moles. And F is the degree of freedom of this system. You have a concrete knowledge of degree of freedom, as I hope, because you have studied it in very detail in the previous lectures. So what I have told you, we have considered a perfect gas system containing mu moles, and this system has a degree of freedom equal to F. Now, as I have told you earlier too, that in case of a perfect gas there is no intermolecular force acting between its molecules, and if there is no intermolecular force, there is no interaction, so interaction energy will be zero. And what is this interaction energy? You know, potential energy is in fact interaction energy because it is developed due to interaction, mutual interaction, and interaction must be conservative. So as there is no intermolecular force between the molecules of a perfect gas, so definitely a perfect gas will have no potential energy. And if it has no potential energy, you know, its total energy or total internal energy, you can say, will be completely kinetic energy, will be in the kinetic form. So whenever we will talk about the internal energy of a perfect gas system, it means you are talking about the kinetic energy of that system. So you can say that our system has only kinetic energy in the form of internal energy. Now, as we have studied in the previous lecture, the equipartition theorem, and you have seen, according to equipartition theorem or law of equipartition of energy, the average kinetic energy per molecule, remark it, average kinetic energy per molecule per degree of freedom is equal to what? This is half kT. We have already studied in the previous lecture. Here you know that this K is Boltzmann constant and T is temperature. Now, since this is energy associated with a molecule, with each molecule for 1 degree of freedom. But as you have assumed that your molecule has degree of freedom F, so if you want to find the total average kinetic energy of this molecule, what you will do? In fact, in just like an unitary method, you can say for 1 degree of freedom, average kinetic energy associated with the molecule is half kT, and so for F degree of freedom, the total kinetic energy associated with the molecule will be what? That will be simply F into half kT, and that will be equal to 1 over 2 F kT. So this is the total kinetic energy of one molecule. Now you know in 1 mole of a substance, not only gas but any substance, so in 1 mole of any substance, the number of molecules present is equal to Avogadro number, and this Avogadro number is denoted by this symbol Na. So we know that the number of molecules in 1 mole of the gas will be equal to Na, where Na is what? This is Avogadro number, and you know its value is 6.023 into 10 to the power 26 molecules per kg mole. Remember, this is per kg mole. If you will write gram mole, then here power will be 23 instead of 26. Power 23 हो जाएगा 26 के जगह पर if we will use gram, not kilogram. So in 1 mole of a gas, the number of molecules is equal to Na. Now we have seen that the total kinetic energy of one molecule is equal to half kT. So what will be the total kinetic energy of 1 mole? Since number of molecules in 1 mole is equal to Na, so when you will multiply this number Na to this value, you will simply get the average kinetic energy of 1 mole of the gas. 1 mole of the gas, and that will be so equal to Na times half kT. Now we have also considered that our gaseous system actually contains mu moles, and with each mole you have seen that the number of molecule content in each mole is equal to Na times this much. So let us simplify it to some extent here. We have associated here Na and K, and you have seen in the earlier lecture and kinetic theory of gases that the product of these two universal constants, Na is a universal constant, K is also a universal constant, and the product of Na and K, that is simply equal to R, which is called universal gas constant. You know it. And so you can say the total average kinetic energy of 1 mole of the gas is equal to 1 over 2 FRT. This is total kinetic energy of 1 mole, remember. But our gas has mu moles. So if you want to find the total energy of mu moles of the gas, what you will do? You will simply multiply the number of moles to the energy of 1 mole. So the total energy, internal energy, I have denoted this internal energy by the symbol capital U. So this capital U is equal to mu times 1 over 2 FRT. And this is actually the total internal energy of our gaseous system when it is at temperature T. But you can see this internal energy is a function of temperature T. So whenever T will change, internal energy will change. And this change in temperature actually gives the idea of molar specific heat capacities. And you have definitely studied that in case of gases, there are two important specific heat capacities. Actually, we define the specific heat capacity of gases in two particular conditions. First one is at constant volume and another is at constant pressure. So when you will define this molar specific heat capacity at constant volume, how you will define? In fact, we define it like this, that the molar specific heat capacity at constant volume is simply defined as the amount of heat needed to 1 mole of the gas to raise its temperature by unity at constant volume. So mathematically, how we define it? So it is defined as, we denote it by the symbol Cv, and it is defined as 1 over mu del U by del T. Although here you can write du by dt too, but in some cases you can see that this u will be not only a function of t, it may be a function of other variables. So for not to make any mistake, we do not write du by dt, but instead of that we write del u by del t. Now we have already calculated in this equation 1 the value of u, so let us put the value of u here to get the value of Cv. You can see this is 1 over mu del t, and what is u? You can see this is mu times 1 over 2 FRT. Now except this t, everything is constant here, or that will be constant, that will be treated constant because we are doing the partial differentiation. So this is simply 1 over mu times mu into 1 over 2 Fr at del t. It is clear? Now you can see this mu and this mu will cancel out, and del t is simply equal to 1. So what you are getting? You can see this Cv will be simply equal to 1 over 2 Fr. Therefore, Cv is equal to 1 over 2 Fr. This is actually the expression for molar specific heat capacity at constant volume in terms of degree of freedom. And you can note that if we know the degree of freedom of a gaseous system, we can easily say what will be its Cv. You have only to know its degree of freedom, nothing else. केवल आप F जान करके ही Cv बता सकते हैं. So this result is very important and you must remember it, because in numerical problem you need this formula, and so definitely this formula must be on your fingertip, because whenever problem will be asked, we will not derive the result, but we will directly put the formula to solve the objective problems particularly. Although in civil services examination you have to give some of the explanation of the derivation of the formula 2, not directly you use the formula, but after using the formula we have to explain that formula 2 in civil services examination. But in university examination you don't need that, you directly write the formula and calculate the result. So Cv is known, and now you know in case of perfect gas how the Cp is related to Cv. So now molar specific heat capacity at constant pressure. We denote it by the symbol Cp. You know these things. This is very elementary concept. And for perfect gases, remember this result which I am going to write that holds strictly in case of perfect gas. In case of real gases, this formula is slightly different. So for perfect gases, in fact, in case of perfect gases, Cp is always greater than Cv, and the difference Cp minus Cv is equal to R. I hope all of you know these things. Cp minus Cv equal to R. So if we know the value of Cv as in this equation A1, we can easily say what will be this Cp. So you can see this Cp will be equal to Cv plus R. Now let us substitute this value of Cv from equation A1 in this result, and then you will get simply the value of Cp in terms of degree of freedom. So let us put it. What is this? Cv is 1 over 2 Fr and plus R. And you can write this R by taking as a common factor. So you can see this will be equal to 1 plus F over 2 times R. This is the expression for molar specific heat capacity of gas at constant pressure in terms of its degree of freedom F. Now, as you have calculated the value of Cv and Cp, then we have to find its ratio. In fact, the ratio of Cp and Cv is also known as adiabatic exponent. So, the ratio of molar specific heat capacities, we denote it by the symbol gamma, and this gamma is simply Cp over Cv. Now you can put the value of Cp and Cv which we have just obtained. You can see Cp is 1 plus F over 2 times R and Cv is 1 over 2 Fr. So put these two values. You can see this is 1 plus F over 2 times R and over 1 over 2 Fr. So now you can see this R and this R will cancel out, and now we can divide the both terms in numerator, that is 1 and F by 2, by F by 2. So when you will divide it, you can see F by 2 over F by 2, that will be 1, and plus 1 by F by 2, that will be equal to 2 by F. So gamma is equal to 1 plus 2 by F. This is actually the result which has been asked in the physics optional in UPSC CSE to prove. यही फॉर्मूला है जिसको प्रूव करने के लिए पूछा गया है. अब देखिए कितना इजीली आप इसको प्रूव कर सकते हैं. इफ़ यू हैव एन आइडिया ऑफ इक्विपार्टीशन थ्योरम, यू कैन इजीली find out or you can easily derive this result. But as I have told you earlier, these results must be in your mind always to solve the numerical problems. So आपको यह फॉर्मूला हमेशा भी दिमाग में रहना चाहिए. So this is one part of our today's lecture. Now in another part we will find the molar specific heat capacities and their ratios for the gases of different atomicity. So now let us see. First of all, we are talking about monatomic gases. Monatomic gases. You have seen the degree of freedom of monatomic gases in earlier lectures, and you have a concrete idea of that. The important examples are He, Ne, Ar. You have seen these things earlier. Monatomic gases, you know, a gas whose molecule contains one and only one atom, that is called monatomic. And we have actually discussed its degree of freedom in detail in the previous lecture. So you have all the basic idea of degree of freedom. So now you can see, whenever we have to find the value of Cv, we have to find the value of Cp or gamma, we need only one thing, and that is degree of freedom. What is degree of freedom of this gas? So to know the value of Cv, Cp and gamma, you must know what is F. And you know, for molecule of a monatomic gas, you know what is F. Can you say? Definitely you can say this is equal to 3, and you know all these 3 degree of freedom are translational degree of freedom. This is translational degree of freedom. So if F is equal to 3 for monatomic gas molecules, we can now easily find the value of Cv, Cp and gamma by using the results which we have just obtained. So now let us see. First of all, Cv. You know Cv is what? This is 1 over 2 Fr. And this is 1 over 2 F, you know, this is 3 and this is R. So you can say that for a monatomic gas, the molar specific heat capacity at constant volume Cv is simply equal to 3 over 2R. It means for any monatomic gas, that may be helium, that may be neon, that may be argon, but Cv for all these monatomic gases will be same, because R is a universal constant. It does not depend on the nature of the gas. So theoretically we can say that Cv for all monatomic gases will be same. Although this is a theoretical result, experimentally it is seen that due to the change in nature of the gas, the value of Cv slightly deviates. अगर वास्तव में एक्सपेरिमेंट में देखा जाए तो Cv अलग अलग मोनोटोमिक गैस के लिए भी थोड़ा बहुत डिफर करता है, बट नॉट वेरी लार्ज. सो approximately we say that Cv for all monatomic gases will be same, and that is equal to 3 by 2 R. Now find the value of Cp. You have seen that this Cp is equal to what? This is 1 plus F over 2 times R. So put the value of F. This is 1 plus 3 over 2 times R. And so you can see what will be the value of Cp. This will be 5 over 2 times R. This is the value of Cp. Now we will find the value of gamma for this monatomic gases. And you have seen that gamma is 1 plus 2 over F. So this is 1 plus 2 over 3. And 1 plus 2 over 3, you can say this will be equal to 1.666. 1.66. So this is actually the value of gamma for monatomic gases. Actually, as we have seen in the previous lectures that the degree of freedom of a monatomic gas is independent of temperature. You know, in case of monatomic gas, the degree of freedom F is independent of temperature. It means at room temperature or very high temperature, the molecules of the monatomic gas has same degree of freedom, and that is equal to 3. So the value of Cv, Cp and gamma will be also not affected by the temperature. So you can say this implies Cv, Cp and gamma of monatomic gas will be not a function of temperature. It means all the Cv, Cp and gamma for all the inert and other monatomic gases will be same, and that will be unaffected of temperature. So this value is theoretical value, and as I have told you that the experimental value for different monatomic gases will be slightly different but not very large. So we say that the all monatomic gases have same Cv, Cp and gamma. In fact, this theoretical value is very close to the experimental result. So we assume that in case of monatomic gas, the classical kinetic theory or equipartition theorem is a very close agreement with experiment. So these values are in close agreement with experimental values. So the theoretical value of Cv, Cp and gamma are very close to the experimental result, and so this theory is valid in case of monatomic gases, and this is the reason that a perfect gas is treated like a monatomic gas. Now we will see these values for diatomic gases. Diatomic gases. You have discussed the degree of freedom of diatomic gases, and you have seen actually the degree of freedom of diatomic gas depends on temperature. So we will take actually those two cases. So at room temperature or normal temperature. You have learned in the previous lecture that if a diatomic molecule is at room temperature or normal temperature, in that condition the two atoms of the molecule are assumed to be rigidly fixed. And rigidly fixed means what? The distance between these two will not change, and if the distance will not change, there will be no vibration. So at room temperature, vibrational motion is not effective in case of diatomic gases. Only the translational and rotational motion are effective, and you have discussed it in detail. So now I am not going to back. I will write the result directly. You know, at room temperature, F is equal to Ft plus Fr. What is Ft? Ft is actually translational degree of freedom, T for translation, and Fr is rotational degree of freedom. And you have seen that this molecule has 3 translational degree of freedom and 2 rotational degree of freedom. So you can say a molecule of a diatomic gas like N2, like H2, like O2, such a molecule has 5 degree of freedom, but when when temperature is normal temperature, room temperature, not very high temperature. So F is equal to 5 in this condition. And you know, if once you know the value of F, you can now easily find the value of Cv, Cp and gamma by using the formula which we have just derived. So now calculate all those values. What will be Cv? We know Cv is 1 by 2 Fr. So this will be 5 by 2R. Cp, you know, this is 1 plus F by 2 times R. And so in this condition, this will be 7 by 2R. And gamma, this is 1 plus 2 over F. So this is 1 plus 2 over 5. And this will be equal to 1.4. So these are values of Cv, Cp and gamma. But these values of Cv, Cp and gamma are valid when temperature is normal, that is room temperature. But you know, if temperature of the diatomic gas is increased, then actually vibrational motion becomes effective at high temperature. Why? In fact, in that condition, these two atoms vibrate. It means the distance between these two are now changing. In fact, in this condition, we consider that this rod is not very rigid, but it is limited, its rigidness is limited, and so this separation change and vibration becomes effective. So at high temperature, what will happen? You know, F is now Ft, translational degree of freedom, plus Fr, rotational degree of freedom, plus Fv, vibrational degree of freedom. And you have seen earlier that Ft is 3, Fr is 2 and Fv is also 2. You have already seen. So now you can say that F is equal to 7. So at high temperature, we know the degree of freedom of a diatomic molecule is 7. And so now you can easily say the value of Cv, Cp and gamma. What is Cv? This is 1 over 2 Fr. F is 7, so this will be 7 over 2R. Cp, we know this is 1 plus F by 2 times R. And so this will be what? This will be 9 by 2R. And this is now gamma. What will be gamma? Gamma, you know, this is 1 plus 2 over F. 1 plus 2 over F. And this will be 1 plus 2 over 7. And this will be equal to 1.29. So these are actually the value of Cv, Cp and gamma of the diatomic molecule or diatomic gas, but at high temperature, when actually dissociation takes place, vibration becomes effective. In fact, as I have told you earlier, that these are actually the theoretical result. But in case of diatomic gas, the experimental values of Cv, Cp and gamma for many diatomic gases like hydrogen H2, nitrogen N2, oxygen O2 are in close agreement with the theoretical value. But there are some gases when there is not a close agreement, but the experimental value and the theoretical value actually differ. So this is a remarkable fact. In case of gases like H2, N2, O2 theoretical values. Theoretical values means वो वैल्यू जो आपने अभी फाइंड आउट किया है. Theoretical values of CV, CP and gamma are in close agreement with the experimental values. With the experimental values. But for heavier diatomic gases, for example, you can take heavier diatomic gases like Cl2. It differs from experimental values. Again, you can see that theoretically all diatomic gas will have same CV, CP and gamma. That gas is maybe hydrogen, that may be nitrogen, but hydrogen, that for hydrogen and nitrogen, CV, CP and gamma will be same theoretically. But in experiment, again it is found that for different gases, although gases will be diatomic, but for different gases, these CV, CP and gamma slightly differ from one another. तो कुछ हद तक नेचर प्रभावित करता है, बट दैट इज नेग्लिजिबल वेरिएशन, नेग्लिजिबल डेविएशन. सो थियोरेटिकली वी कंसिडर दैट ऑल द डायटोमिक गैसेज विल हैव सेम CV, CP एंड गामा. नाउ वी विल talk about the third example, and that is triatomic gas. Triatomic gases. We have seen that in case of triatomic gases, we have considered actually two situations. First one was non-linear triatomic gases. Non-linear triatomic gases. You have seen that in case of non-linear triatomic gases, F is equal to what? F equal to 6. And in fact, this 6 is what? This is Ft plus Fr. Ft plus Fr. Ft plus Fr. And this Ft plus Fr, in which Ft is again 3 and Fr is also 3. It means a non-linear molecule of triatomic gas has 3 translational degree of freedom and 3 rotational degree of freedom, not any vibrational degree of freedom, because we are talking again the condition of normal temperature. Normal temperature. So, if you know the value of F, you can now easily find the value of CV, CP and gamma, as you have calculated earlier. CV, you know, this is 1 over 2 Fr. So, put the value of F, this will be 6 over 2R. So, this is 3R. Again, CP. You know CP is what? this is 1 plus F over 2 times R, and so this is 1 plus F over 2 times R, so 1 plus 6 over 2 times R, and this is 4R. And gamma, this is 1 plus 2 over F, this is 1 plus 2 over 6, and this is 1.33. So these are the value of Cv, Cp and gamma for a non-linear triatomic gas at normal temperature. And when we consider actually the linear triatomic gas, but at normal temperature, you have seen this is the schematic diagram for its structure. This is first atom, this is second atom, this is third atom, and all atoms are connected with one another rigidly. At normal temperature, we consider that they are rigidly attached to one another. So in this case too, there will be no vibrational no vibrational motion, only translation and rotation will be effective. So in this case, you know F is equal to 7, but how this 7 is possible? In fact, in this case, F equal to 3 plus 4. F equal to 3 plus 4. In fact, Ft, translational degree of freedom, is 3, and rotational degree of freedom will be 4. Rotational degree of freedom will be 4. And so, no vibration, because we are talking about the normal temperature. So, F is equal to 7. And if F is 7, you can say what will be Cv? Cv will be 1 by 2 Fr. So this is 7 by 2R, and it is 3.5 R. Cp, this will be 1 plus F by 2 R, and so this is 4.5 R. And gamma, this will be 1 plus 2 over F, this is 1 plus 2 over 7, and this will be 1.2 over 7, तो 2 को डिवाइड करिए 7 से, तो क्या मिलेगा? Almost you can say 2/8, this much. So this is the value of Cv, Cp and gamma. Now, one thing here is very remarkable, that in case of the triatomic gases or polyatomic gases, actually there is a large disagreement between the theoretical value and the experimental value. The values of Cv, Cp and gamma which I have mentioned here, this is actually the theoretical value. But experimental value of Cv, Cp and gamma in case of triatomic gases, or in general you can say the polyatomic gases, are very different from the theoretical value. And actually I have told you earlier in the previous lecture that the Cv, Cp and gamma, or degree of freedom, you can say degree of freedom of polyatomic molecule actually depends on the structure or the configuration. So in this case, theoretical value and experimental value disagree with one another. It means in case of polyatomic gases, this equipartition theorem is not consistent. So in this case, theoretical and experimental. Theoretical and experimental values differ much. And so our conclusion is equipartition theorem is not consistent with polyatomic gases. In fact, the close agreement between the experimental and theoretical value is only in case of monatomic gases. So this theory is applicable in a strict sense for monatomic gases. In fact, in case of polyatomic gases, the actual experimental value and the theoretical value which we obtain here differs from one another by large amount, and so that larger deviation cannot be neglected. So this is all about the calculation of CV, Cp and gamma using the equipartition theorem. And now, after getting this idea, in the forthcoming lecture we will clarify this idea by taking some important examples, the numerical problems, and you will see that in different standard examinations such numerical problems has been asked.